Hello, my name is Jeremy. This is Red Means Recording. I had a lesson with somebody recently where they were like, hey, I got a synth from Deluge and I want to do some stuff in Ableton with MIDI and I want to put it on the Deluge. And I want you to show me how. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I've never considered that as a thing that I would ever want to do. But we worked through it and it was cool. And I thought of some applications for it. So I just kind of want to walk through you. I just kind of want to walk you through the process because it's a little weird, but the results are very cool. So what do you need to get started for this? Well, obviously it's synth from Deluge. You need it plugged into your computer via USB. And I'm going to be working in Ableton Live for this. So your results may vary in terms of what you need to do to set up your digital audio workstation to put MIDI into this. There's two things we got to do before we get started. One, we got to go over to Ableton and make sure that it knows the Deluge is a device that we want to use for MIDI. So let's do that real quick. Okie dokie. So once you've plugged the Deluge into your computer via USB, you'll likely see a little note saying that the Deluge is being set up to be a device. And then it will say, hey, I'm a device now. And then once that's done, you can open it up in here. We want to go to output and turn these on. Now Ableton will send MIDI output to the Deluge. So the next thing we got to do is come over to the Deluge and set up our MIDI clock. So we can get to the MIDI settings in the Deluge by pushing Shift and Select. And then we want to find the thing that says T-clock, T-clo, and click into it. Let's go to input. We do not want PPQ. That is for analog clocks. Let's go to auto. All right, back. Let's go to MIDI. Clock. In. On. Great. Let's see if that works. So now if I go over to Ableton and I hit play on Ableton, yeah, baby. Look at that. It play. The next thing we got to do is put some MIDI in Ableton and then have the Deluge set up to receive it. So I'm going to be working with some video game MIDIs that I downloaded. You can find these pretty much anywhere. And once you import them into Ableton, you will generally get multiple tracks like this. So let's start by setting up our first track in the Deluge to receive some MIDI. I'm going to go over to this section of Ableton right here and select Deluge channel 1. All right. So now we have to tell each one of the synths we want in Deluge what MIDI channel they should belong to. So I'm going to make a new synth by hitting Shift and Synth. And our new blank synth sounds like that. If we play over here, we're still not going to get anything into this because we need to tell this friend here that it wants MIDI channel 1. So we're going to press and hold Learn. We're going to play our MIDI back in Ableton. And we're going to press this. Oh yeah. So let me just show you how to record directly into that first track real quick. So first track, I'm going to hit record. I'm going to hit stop on Ableton so I go back to the beginning, and I'm just going to hit play. And now, we would wait for the whole thing to play through. That's probably enough for right now. I hit stop on Ableton and it stopped La Deluge. So let's go into our second track. We have a second track here. Shift and Synth to load a blank synth preset. Let's go back over to Ableton. Now at this point, we want to turn this to no output. We want only channel 2 to respond. So let us do the same thing we did before. We're going to hit Learn, back to stop, hit play. So now you can hear that our second synth is responding. So let's go ahead and hit record and hit play. Each one of these tracks remembers the MIDI track that it's being assigned to. So technically you could make a little template in the Deluge that you could load up that has, MIDI channels assigned to each synth track that you want. You can hear that we're not getting the triplets properly over here, and that's going to be in your quantize settings in the Deluge. I'm not going to jump into that in this demo, but there are quantize settings that will auto-quantize to the grid, and I think what we're hearing right now is an auto-quantize in the Deluge to a grid that is kind of like messing up those triplets that are inherent to the Zelda song. Done. Okay, so we don't need to do any more. So now that you have this, you can start like editing your synth sounds, you know, if you want to. So we can go into this first one. That's pretty good. Okay, so obviously it's a pain in the ass to have to go and, play back the MIDI every single time that you want to assign a track and, record each track separately. So what I want to try now is something I think will work. And that is, after you've done all the setup that we did before, we can go into Ableton, and here's another version of the piece that we were working with. It's a MIDI file, and I've gone over here and I've set the Deluge tracks in here, 4 channels. So what I want to do is follow a similar thing to what I did last time. I'm going to go to my song, track, shift synth for a new synth. I don't have a MIDI controller hooked up to Ableton right now, so I'm going to be using the keyboard right here. So I'm going to hit shift learn, like I did last time, and I just hit a key. What that did was sent out a MIDI message via Deluge channel 1 to our friend here. So now it's responding to channel 1. So let me go back into my song, new track, shift synth, and I'm going to go to track 2, which is set up to MIDI channel 2. I'm going to hit learn, pad, and hit a key on channel 2. Now I should hear 2 channels. Sure do. Let's repeat that. So now that we have all 3 synth channels set up to receive that sweet, sweet MIDI on their respective channels from Ableton, we can hit record in song mode on our friend here and hit play on Ableton, and it should record all of these at once. Oh, it's so beautiful. So beautiful. So we're at 148 BPM. And again, now that you have this MIDI in here, you can go in and play around with the sounds. Do whatever you want, like... Anyways, friends, that is a way to get MIDI from your DAW, in this case Ableton, into the Synthstrom Deluge. I hope this has been informative. Have some fun, go grab some MIDIs, throw them on your Deluge, make Rick Astley remixes. I don't know, whatever you want to do. It's your world, not mine. I'm just here to show you how to do shit. Anyways, thanks for watching. My name is Jeremy, this is Red Means Recording, and I hope you have a wonderful day.